Welcome back to our journey through the annals of time. Today we're delving into the dark pages of history to explore the lives and legacies of some of the most formidable, yet notoriously cruel rulers who left an indelible mark on civilization. Get ready for a gripping countdown as we unveil the top 10 cruelest rulers in history. From the battlefields to the thrones, these leaders wielded power with an iron fist, leaving a trail of suffering and fear in their wake. Before we embark on this harrowing exploration, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and ring the notification bell to join us on future historical adventures. Now, let's dive into the shadows of the past and discover the tales of tyranny that shaped our world. Genghis Khan, alive in 1227, the founder of the Mongol Empire, known for his ruthlessness in warfare, massive destruction, and killing millions during his conquests across Asia. Genghis Khan, born as Temujin, was the founder and unifier of the Mongol tribes, eventually establishing the vast Mongol Empire, one of the largest contiguous empires in history. His reign and conquests were marked by a combination of military brilliance, ruthlessness, and the profound impact his campaigns had on shaping the world. Temujin rose to power after uniting the Mongol tribes through a series of strategic alliances and military victories. His leadership abilities, vision, and innovative military tactics enabled him to create a disciplined and formidable army. Under Genghis Khan's rule, the Mongol Empire expanded rapidly through a series of conquests across Asia and Eastern Europe. His military campaigns were characterized by brutal efficiency, using psychological warfare, surprise attacks, and tactics that struck fear into his enemies. Genghis Khan's forces often showed no mercy to those who resisted. Cities that refused to surrender were often subjected to brutal sieges and widespread devastation. The Mongol armies employed tactics such as massacres, mass enslavement, and the complete annihilation of populations in some instances, leaving a trail of destruction in their wake. During the Mongol conquests, estimates suggest that millions of people lost their lives due to warfare, massacres, and the aftermath of Mongol invasions. The Mongols were known for their use of terror as a tactic, using extreme violence to subdue resistance and instill fear among those who opposed them. Adolf Hitler, dictator of Nazi Germany responsible for the Holocaust, the systematic genocide of 6 million Jews, and millions of others considered undesirable by the regime. Under Hitler's regime, the Nazi government implemented policies targeting various groups, primarily Jews but also including Romani people, disabled individuals, LGBTQ+ individuals, political dissidents, and others considered undesirable by the regime. The systematic genocide of approximately 6 million Jews during the Holocaust, known as the Shoah, involved the implementation of concentration camps, extermination camps, mass shootings, forced labor, and other methods of systematic murder. Millions of innocent people were subjected to unimaginable suffering, torture, and death through gas chambers, starvation, medical experiments, forced labor, and other atrocities perpetrated by the Nazi regime. This period of history remains one of the most tragic and horrifying chapters, underscoring the depths of human cruelty and the importance of remembering and honoring the victims. Vlad III, commonly known as Vlad the Impaler or Vlad Dracula, was a ruler of Wallachia, a region in present-day Romania, known for his ruthless and brutal methods of governance, particularly his favored method of execution, impalement. Vlad III earned the moniker Vlad the Impaler due to his penchant for impaling his enemies, a method of execution that aimed to instill fear and serve as a deterrent against adversaries and potential dissenters. He believed that this brutal form of punishment would intimidate and discourage enemies from opposing him. The act of impalement involved inserting a wooden stake through the victim's body and then displaying the impaled bodies as a deterrent to others. Vlad used this method not only as a means of execution but also as a psychological weapon, creating fields of impaled victims to intimidate invading forces or dissuade rebellion. Historical accounts and chronicles from the time describe instances where Vlad the Impaler ordered mass impalements, resulting in horrific scenes of suffering and death. Reports suggest that he used impalement not only against enemies in battle, but also against individuals within his own realm, who were deemed traitors, criminals, or threats to his rule. Vlad's reputation for cruelty extended beyond impalement. He was known for employing other forms of punishment, torture, and brutality to maintain control over his principality. His methods of governance were harsh and unforgiving, designed to maintain order through fear. While Vlad the Impaler's actions were undoubtedly brutal and shocking, it's essential to understand the historical context in which he ruled. His methods were seen as extreme, even in a period marked by harsh punishment, and his rule was characterized by a desire to establish authority and control through intimidation and terror. Ivan the Terrible, the first Tsar of Russia, infamous for his erratic behavior, violent outbursts, and the establishment of a secret police force, the Oprichnina, that terrorized and killed thousands. Can you write more detailed about it and give some shocked and violent examples? Ivan IV, commonly known as Ivan the Terrible, was the first Tsar of Russia, reigning from 1547 until his death in 1584. His rule was marked by both significant accomplishments and extreme brutality. Ivan's early reign was marked by reforms, expansion of territories, and modernization efforts in Russia. However, as time passed, his behavior became increasingly erratic and violent. He implemented a system known as the Oprichnina, a state within a state, to consolidate his power. The Oprichnina was characterized by brutal oppression and a reign of terror. Ivan the Terrible's Oprichnina included the establishment of a secret police force, the Oprichniki, tasked with maintaining his authority and eliminating opposition. They carried out acts of violence, torture, and executions, instilling fear among the populace. Ivan himself was known for unpredictable and violent outbursts, which sometimes resulted in the execution of nobles and officials, including his own son, Ivan Ivanovich, in a fit of rage. One of the most notorious events associated with Ivan's reign is the massacre of Novgorod in 1570, where thousands of civilians were killed during a brutal crackdown by the Oprichniki. The city was subjected to widespread destruction, and countless lives were lost in a display of extreme cruelty and violence. Ivan the Terrible's legacy is complex, characterized by his achievements in state building alongside his brutal methods of governance. His reign reflects a dark period in Russian history marked by authoritarianism, violence, and oppression. Caligula, certainly. Caligula, whose birth name was Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, was the Roman emperor from 37 AD until his assassination in 41 AD. He ascended to power after the death of Tiberius, his great-uncle and predecessor. Caligula's early reign was marked by optimism and goodwill, as he initially endeared himself to the Roman Senate and the people with a semblance of generosity and accessibility. However, his behavior soon took a drastic turn. He is infamous for his erratic and often cruel behavior, which included numerous instances of sadism, violence, and extreme extravagance. Caligula's rule was characterized by arbitrary decisions, acts of wanton cruelty, and a disregard for established norms of governance. Among his notorious actions were arbitrary executions and brutal acts of torture carried out against perceived enemies or those who opposed him. He exhibited a sense of grandiosity and self-aggrandizement, proclaiming himself a god and demanding divine worship. Caligula's extravagant spending on lavish projects and elaborate games, combined with his cruel and capricious nature, drained the Roman treasury and caused financial hardship. He frequently indulged in excessive and wasteful expenditures, further burdening the Roman economy. His erratic behavior extended to public spectacles, where he often staged grotesque and macabre events for entertainment. He also displayed a penchant for incestuous relationships, including with his sisters, and engaged in other scandalous behavior that scandalized Roman society. The accumulation of such actions and behaviors led to a growing discontent among the Senate, the military, and the populace. Consequently, Caligula's reign was marked by conspiracy and plots against him. Caligula's rule came to an abrupt end when he was assassinated in 41 AD by a group of conspirators, including members of the Praetorian Guard and senators. His death brought an end to a tumultuous and oppressive reign, and he was succeeded by Claudius, his uncle. Caligula's legacy remains one of tyranny, excess, and cruelty, serving as a cautionary tale in Roman history about the dangers of absolute power and the consequences of a despotic ruler unchecked by societal norms or limitations.